Something owns you right now. Not a person, a possibility. The fear of losing your job, your reputation, someone's opinion of you, the shape your life was supposed to take by now. And the strange part is, you built the leash yourself. There was a man in Rome, born a slave, who limped for the rest of his life because his master once twisted his leg for sport and just kept twisting, curious whether it would break. It broke. The slave apparently said, almost calmly, that he'd told him it would. That was it. No scream, no plea. He'd already made peace with the fact that his leg was never really his to protect. That man's name was Epictetus. And what he figured out from inside that kind of powerlessness is more useful to you right now, scrolling through your phone with a knot in your stomach over something that hasn't even happened yet, than almost anything modern self-help will tell you. Here's the idea he built his whole philosophy on, and it sounds almost too simple to matter. Some things are up to you and some things aren't. Your opinions, your desires, your reactions, yours. Your body, your possessions, your reputation, what other people think of you, whether you get the promotion, whether they text back, not yours. Never were. You just borrowed the illusion that they were. Most people spend their whole lives gripping the wrong half of that list. They treat their reputation like it's load-bearing. They treat other people's moods like weather they're personally responsible for. And then they wonder why they feel like they're drowning in something they can't control, because they just don't realize they chose to swim there. Epictetus had this image he kept coming back to. Imagine life as a dinner being passed around a table. A dish comes to you. Take a polite portion. Don't grab. Don't complain if it skips you. Don't reach across the table for what's not yours yet. Wealth, position, a relationship, status. These are dishes. They pass by. Some people get seated near the good food, and some don't, and none of it was ever a referendum on your worth. The moment you start yanking at what isn't yours, you've already lost the thing that was actually yours to keep your composure. But here's where it gets uncomfortable, because it's easy to nod along to that and still not feel it. So try this instead. He told a story about a lamp. He had an iron lamp sitting next to his household shrine. Expensive. One of the few nice things he owned. Someone broke in one night and stole it, and his reaction wasn't rage. It was almost curiosity. He thought, tomorrow I'll just get a cheap clay one, because a man can only lose what he actually has. And I never really had that lamp. I had the use of it, for a while, the way you have the use of anything. Sit with that for a second, because it applies to more than lamps. Your job. Your looks. The people you love. You don't own any of it in the way you think you do. You're borrowing all of it, on a lease with no fixed end date, and most human suffering is just the shock of the lease being called in earlier than expected. Now, this is the part people misread, and it's worth being precise about, because Stoicism gets caricatured as, just don't care about anything, and that's not it. That's actually a coward's version of the philosophy. Epictetus wasn't numb. He said the thief who stole his lamp paid a price for it too. He became, in that act, a man willing to steal. That's a worse trade than losing a lamp. The Stoic isn't indifferent to right and wrong. He's just precise about what's actually his to lose. His character was never on the table. Only the lamp was. That distinction is the whole trick. It's not stop caring. It's care about the one thing that was always structurally yours, how you meet what happens, and stop pretending the rest was ever yours to lose in the first place. And once you actually believe that, something strange happens to fear. Because most of what we're afraid of is the loss of things that were never ours. You're not really afraid of losing the relationship. You're afraid of the story you'd built where you needed it in order to be okay. You're not afraid of losing the job. You're afraid of who you'd be without the title. Epictetus would say, good, feel that fear all the way through. Follow it down, and you'll find it's not fear of the event at all. It's fear of your own judgment about the event. Change the judgment, and the event goes back to being just a thing that happened, the way weather is just a thing that happens. He put it almost brutally simply. It is not events that disturb people. It is their opinions about events. Someone insults you. The insult is just noise moving through air until you decide it means something about you. Someone you love dies. And this is the line that stops people. This is the one Epictetus actually said out loud to a room full of grieving people. When you kiss your child goodnight, remind yourself you are kissing something mortal, so that if it is taken from you, you are not shattered by something you refuse to acknowledge from the beginning. That's not coldness. Read it again slower. It's the opposite of coldness. It's what lets you actually love something without the love curdling into a hostage situation with reality. You don't love your child less by knowing they're mortal. You love them with your eyes open, instead of flinching from the truth every single day you're with them. There's a smaller image he used that somehow lands harder than the big one about death. He said, you are an actor in a play, and the playwright decides the role, short or long, king or beggar, comic or tragic, and your only job is to play the role well, not to choose it. If you were cast as a cripple, Play the cripple excellently. If you were cast poor, play poor with dignity. The casting was never up to you. The performance is the only thing that was ever yours. Most people are furious at the casting. They spend decades auditioning for a different life, instead of performing the one they were actually handed. And the tragedy isn't that they didn't get the role they wanted, it's that they were so busy resenting the casting that they gave a bad performance in the role they did get, the only one they'll ever actually have. He'd walk up to people obsessed with status and ask them something almost cruel in its simplicity. If Caesar adopted you tomorrow, you'd walk around insufferable with pride at being the emperor's son. So why does it not occur to you that you already are, in the only sense that actually matters, descended from something larger than yourself, and yet you crawl through your days as if you were nothing but the sum of your anxieties? That question is really the whole book compressed into one sentence. You already have the thing you're chasing. You're just distracted by the packaging. And maybe that's the strangest part of reading a man who was enslaved, exiled, and physically broken, and finding him more at peace than almost anyone you know who has none of those problems. He wasn't peaceful because his life was easy. He was peaceful because he'd stopped fighting for territory that was never his leg, his lamp, his reputation, his outcome, and had put every ounce of himself into the one plot of land that actually belonged to him, the inside of his own mind. You have that same plot of land. Nobody has ever taken it from you, not really, not once. You've only ever handed it over voluntarily, a little at a time, every time you let someone else's opinion decide your mood, every time you treated a borrowed thing like property. The lamp is going to get stolen eventually. All of them do. The only question Epictetus leaves you with, the one that doesn't really have a comfortable answer, is what you're going to do the morning after. Mourn a clay lamp as if it were iron, or finally notice you were never the kind of man who needed the iron one at all. If this made you think, leave a like and subscribe to Psych Eyes for more psychology and human behavior insights. Until next time, keep your psych eyes open.